Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs 4. We haven't yet updated our intro music or any of the graphical stuff, so bear with us. We are a slow-moving ship, we'll call it. Guys, I hope you are all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. It's Monday night. We've got a hell of a lot to talk about. Big game tomorrow night. There was a huge game on Saturday night. This is the first chance we've had to get together and chew through it. The fallout, was it right to rotate? Did we make the mistake in rotating against Newcastle just to put on that sort of performance? The fan meltdown. Tottenham fan base is quite a unique beast at times. And of course, we've also got the Jed Spence, Mickey van der Ven, and let's not forget Destiny Udogie, who seemed to have snuck under the radar because he too also abandoned the fans at the end of the game without saying thank you. We've got to talk all about it. I'm here, of course, with Stel, with Johnny, and with Luba. I'll come and find out how they're doing in just a second. Before I do, guys, please make sure you take your shoes off by hitting the like button, doing the admin thing, hit the subscribe. If you are watching and you're not subscribed and you want to join the chat, all you've got to do is smash the subscribe. You get instant access. If it doesn't open up, just refresh the browser and you'll get instant access, no waiting around. Squeeze that notification bell and drop the comments. Keep them respectful, and mods, do your job. Appreciate you guys. Lastly, guys, I will be putting the link for Spotify and Apple Pods and all that stuff in the chat. We are trying to grow the podcast version of this channel as well. So please, if you those sorts of things, then make sure you take your time just to smash the link there. And then hit the follow button and hopefully give us a rating. Admin over. Stel, how you doing, mate? Welcome back. Good week?
Yeah, I personally, good week for me personally as a Spurs fan. No, not a good week, not at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, good to be here, everyone. Good evening. Hello from whatever part of the world you're tuning in from. And if you watch this later on a replay, hello to you as well.
Johnny, how are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm all right. This is the first, proper post-mortem I've attended since probably AC Milan, Conte, when we were 1-0 down and we were playing like we were 3-0 up all that time ago. Yeah, it feels like a post-mortem today. We're doing an autopsy tonight to see where our club died against Chelsea. But, hey, maybe we can rise from the ashes.
Let's hope so. Massive game tomorrow night, so no time to lick our wounds. Lubo, before we get into that sort of autopsy, mate, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. It ruined half of my Sunday. I sort of got it together halfway through watching some football yesterday afternoon, but bloody shit it was. Sport of the weekend, basically. So otherwise, I'm okay.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to quickly share with you, I don't know what's happened. I'm pretty sure the last time I looked at this, did we not get an expected goals? Wasn't it 0.05?
Yeah, the lowest 2012, or basically since XG began.
Correct.
Well, something's happened.
4 matches.
Something's happened because SofaScore have doubled our XG. I don't know what's going on there. Unless I'm looking at a different game. They've also upped Chelsea that stat as well. That was 2.78 before, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
Sean, it's okay. 0.1, that fixes everything. That's good enough.
I'm just saying, I've never seen them adjust the XG after the fact. It's very strange. Anyway, the stats are horrendous. We don't want to dwell on it too much.
Isn't this a case of we don't need XG because we have eyes? Before the birth of XG, we had eyes. We went home and said, what was it like? It was a pile of shit, right?
Yeah.
We didn't look at XG. We didn't look at any of that shit. We didn't look at percentages, how many shots on target. It just wasn't a factor. It is now, unfortunately. We dissect every minute of every single game. But that's why we're YouTubers.
Yeah, well, let's
Johnny,
maybe stick with the stats then for the overall. Oh, go on, Stel. Sorry, mate. Go on, buddy.
Put the stats to one side. Let's go by the eye test.
Well, I just said we were shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the stats just confirm the eye test.
Yeah, no, but you don't need the stats, is what I'm saying, right? We don't need stats to see shit, and we don't need stats to see, when we're lucky, when we're unlucky. That's all I'm saying. There's so much focus on XG. We didn't do well, but we had a good XG. We didn't win, but we had a good XG.
Jurgen Klopp's entire winning Liverpool side was built off of statistical analysis to source players.
Yeah. When you're winning games or you're trying to win games, I'm talking about us as fans, mate. Yeah.
I think go on then. We can let's not make it a stats argument. Go on.
Well, let's just talk about it just in general. Let's just simplify it. Well, we haven't got to hark on the stats. It's 4 days after the event. Let's just talk about it. Like basic, question for you all. Can you think of a worse performance at Tottenham in the last 3-4 years? Can you at this stadium?
AC Milan game. Look, we've had shit games. 100% we've had shit games, but I've not felt like I felt on Saturday since that game against AC Milan, where what the hell are we doing? We're trying to get through the Champions League. We're 1-0 down, and we bring on defenders, and it's like we're trying to protect a 1-0 defeat. I was raging, and that's the only sort of that's how I felt on Saturday. To be truthful with you, that's the nearest I've come to the feeling I felt on Saturday. That's from my perspective.
Well, you can mention AC Milan. You can go back to the United game that cost Nuno his job. I remember feeling this way when we got stuffed 5-0 by Liverpool at home. Remember Suarez took the piss and got a hat-trick, and AVB lost his job. And I could just go back and back and back. But Saturday was appalling, and Frank got schooled by Maresca. Maresca very, very, very cleverly pushed Neto on VDV, pushed Garnacho on Porro, he pushed James and Fernandez on Bentancur and Polinia, pushed Pedro on Danso, Pedro, Caicedo and Cucurella on Sara and Kudus, and Gusto on Simmons. And we didn't find a way around it. The press smothered us, and it was poor. It was just poor. There was no right. Let's hit the channels. Let's hit some long balls for Moani to run into the channels. Let's see if we can break it up. Let's beat the press. Continue playing out from the back. We got caught on one of those occasions. We got lucky. Porro's clearance ended up with João Pedro, and Vicario got us out of trouble. And it was just a matter of time, and we ended up getting caught. Simmons, Spence, Van der Ven, between the three of them, cost us that goal and ultimately the game. And there was, you just knew. Fans were pouring out 10 minutes from the end because there was just no way of actually putting a draw out the bag. It was really, really poor. And to take off Kudus and Moani for Richie and Johnson, I'm sorry, I just didn't get that. You got to keep your best players on.
It was knackered. In fairness, Ian, he was blowing hard. Like he looked knackered about 3 games ago. I'm not excusing it, but he did look knackered. So maybe that was the reason. That's only Kudus I'm talking about. I couldn't talk about the others.
For me, it was poor. Vicario again. Called me old-fashioned, not interested in all this ball-playing goalkeepers. They're there to save goals. And he kept us in the game literally right up to the end. It was only 1-0. You can always pull a goal back and nick a draw. And that's the third time he's pulled us out of, not quite pulled us out the cart this time, but saved us from a major beating. How Estero blazed over. You're right, Jordan's right. We made it easy. We were passive. I don't know what it is. The players, they come out. I thought the fans at the start of the game were really good, but that's their enthusiasm withered away, and that's another subject I hope we get onto later on.
We're definitely going to be talking about the fans.
Yeah, but for me, that was one of the worst games I can remember. It was just you walked out numb, to be honest, and this whole system that we're playing at the moment. At home, away from home, he sets us up brilliantly. We've got a fantastic away record. At home, it's not working, and he's got to change it. He's got to change it. I thought with the team, I thought he'd play Bergvall as a false 9. He started him off on the left. which I didn't quite understand. Understand smothering midfield with the double pivot and Sarr, and then push Bergvall forward and have Kudus and Moore on the either side of him. He didn't start that way either. Listen, I'm a big Frank Keane fan. I think he'll get it right. I think it's all about players. I think when he gets better players, you'll start to see a much more attacking way of playing football. But I think he got a few things wrong on Saturday.
Yeah. Stel, before we get into the specifics of Thomas Frank and whether, because there's a lot of question marks about him, how do we solve, how do we improve the game? You'll get your take on the game generally.
I predicted a loss because I could see what was going on with the way we were set up for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I said we were going to lose because, you know, I just think Spurs fans, there's a lot of them at the moment who are just blind. And they're blind because they're 2 balls deep in with this manager who we owe nothing to. There is no emotional attachment to this manager or any manager at this club until they prove their worth to us. The club need to back him, there's no doubt. That's why he gets a year from me to see what happens next summer. But the performances have been diabolical for weeks. Battered by Bournemouth, battered by Bodo, battered by Bodo Glimt. Battered week in, week out, most games, except for a handful of away games. We've been getting battered. And I've been coming on this show, guys, for the last 3-4 weeks saying, we're getting lucky, we're getting lucky. Vicario is saving us. And all I hear, especially from Mr. Lubo, our good friend, we're resilient. He's made us resilient. Really, we've lost 3 out of the last 5, drawn 1 and won 1. That's not resilience. It's abysmal. But it's been coming because, and I repeat what I've been saying, Sean, unless he changes the passage of play and stops depending on the ball going to Kudus or winning throw-ins or free kicks, corners, beg your pardon, this is not sustainable football, especially at home. He has to change it, the passage of play. But he doesn't. And, you know, we went into the Chelsea game after rotating midweek to focus on Chelsea, and that's what you do, Tottenham. So you've cost us the cup to focus on Chelsea, and that's what we do. Look, for me, I knew this.
Well, hang on. There's no guarantee that had we gone full strength, we would have beaten Newcastle.
Sean, there is no full strength, but he went weaker because he knew he had a game next, and that game was more important because he went full strength against Chelsea. So he prioritised the Chelsea game. Fine, if you're going to prioritise it, turn up. That's one of the worst Spurs games I've ever seen in 2 decades. I knew this was coming because the performances have been crap.
Well, if you see it enough times, Stel, you're going to be correct.
The results.
You're going to be
in my opinion, the results have been masking over the reality of what we've been watching, and I knew this was coming, and it's why I said before the Monaco game, there was 10 games coming up. I said we're going to win 2 at the most. We've played 5, we won 1. I'm on course to be proven right. I don't want to be, but I think I'm going to be right. Frank needs to adapt. He needs to adapt. The coach, the tactical professor, needs to adapt to the tools he's got until he gets the squad he wants. Otherwise, he will be gone. The fan base are turning, and I predicted this. So it's not all on him, though, because if
you were a prescient at predicting results, you would sit at top of the prediction table, and you don't. Yours truly does. I'm still sitting at the top, right? So let's just I'm
talking about the 10-game run we're on, right? Not since the start, because I've seen enough to know now how we play and what his tactic is towards the game.
It's like predicting, Stel. It's like predicting, right? Next on Saturday, the day after Saturday will be Sunday, mate. Right? What you predicted is he will get sacked. Yes, he will get sacked at some point. Right? You're just stating it in advance.
No. That's not what I said. I said if he doesn't adapt, the fans aren't going to tolerate it. And we know that our club will succumb to fan pressure eventually. So for me, listen, and with all due respect, guys, no one's going to tell me, nobody's going to convince me that Sunderland have got a better team than Tottenham and they could go to Stamford Bridge, not just win, but put in a performance. And us at home with a better squad than Sunderland do that. I'm not accepting that from any manager, Johnny.
On that narrative, then they should be smashing Everton tonight, right?
No,
Yeah,
on that
maybe, by the way,
narrative,
maybe the solution to
on that
part of our
narrative,
issues is that guy Ndai. What a goal he's just scored.
look, if fans want to defend this, that's fine, defend it. I said I'll give Frank to the end of the year. I'm not budging on that. He will get to the end of the year because he needs players. We all know he needs players. But what we're watching with the current players we got, no one's going to convince me. Guys, forget the attacking lineup against Chelsea. The midfield was dreadful against Chelsea. The defence got torn to shreds. There was basic things that he as a coach failed to do in that game. And we'll get into it a bit more. That's my opinion on the Chelsea game. And that's why I predicted we'd lose, because it's been coming for weeks.
Right, Stel, tell me something. Do you think in any shape, way or form, our midfield is in comparison to Enzo, Caicedo and Reece James? Because I don't think our midfield is any way, shape or form.
Adapt then. You've got to adapt then, Johnny, which is why a lot of the fan base was saying, go to something like a 3 at the back, do a wing-back system and play the way we did against PSG. Like, if it's about outcome, if poor performance is only acceptable if the outcome is positive, and ultimately fans are going to moan if you play. Some fans are going to moan if you play badly but win. Others will moan if you play well but lose. But ultimately, the only really recipe to get a happy fan base is to do the kind of the holy trinity of play well, win, and sit at the top of the table, despite where you are on your own process or project. Then ultimately, there has to be a way for Thomas Frank is picking. I believe Thomas Frank is setting up not to lose most of the time. And I think for the most part, it's worked out. But the fans that are impatient won't tolerate those sorts of performances at home. But if you are recognising that the midfield battle, Johnny, and I agree with you, was lost before it started. And I think Thomas Frank even set up in a way to acknowledge that. He went with like a diamond in the middle, which is essentially trying to basically saying, we need 4 to combat your 3. And then you lose Bergvall 5 minutes in, bring on Xavi Simons, which forces you to go back to a 4-2-3-1. You can't play that. You can't play through the middle. You can't win that game. Johnny, why not go over the top? Avoid the midfield as much as possible and play like you did against PSG.
Sean, if you play 3-5, if you play 3 at the back, you say Romero's back. You play Danso, Romero, Van der Ven. You've got Porro and Udogie as your wing backs. You've got 2 in the middle, Polinia +1, and then you've got Kudus and Simmons behind Mawani. You're virtually playing a diamond there, aren't you? You're virtually playing a diamond. You've got Polinia, then you've got the 2 wide boys, and then you've got one of Kudus and Simmons at the top. So, or either side of it. So it's virtually a diamond.
You can't play Kudus if you're trying to play more of a direct game. Can't play that at all. You need to have like Kolo Muani and a Kudus. Sorry, you can't play Xavi. Sorry, if you're trying to do that, you need to play Kolo Muani and Kudus and do that sort of system, the setup that we did against PSG. I'm not saying that the fans would have necessarily been. I think they might have been more unhappy had we done that and lost, because you're really setting up then in a way that sort of acknowledges your deficiencies versus a rival. But I just think that Thomas Frank is he's setting the team up at home in a way that is not going to be tolerable to the fans, unless, and even if you do win, there's still going to be an element of the fan base that just won't tolerate that sort of football at home.
Sean, fans will tolerate it if we win games, right? They will tolerate
only
it.
If we win. Only if we win.
Yeah.
Or if we can see we gave it our best chance. On Thursday's show, you asked the question, now that we're out of the cup, must we win against Chelsea for fans to not turn against Frank or boo? You actually asked this question. Go back and watch the show, everybody. And you said, what if we lose? What will be the reaction? And I said, it depends how we play. If we turn up and put a stinker, he's going to get it in the neck. He got it in the neck because we put in a stinker. Look, guys, it was for me, it was some basic things that I saw, right? Coach's hat on now. Chelsea are pressing us. They're all over us and we're struggling to get out of the press. Pass from the back, pass from the back, pass from the back. That's what Ange did. Trying to pass it out when the press is too good for you. So what you do is, this is level 2 coaching, they teach this. When you have the ball, you are in attack, whether you've got the ball in defence, midfield, up front. As soon as you've got possession, you're in the attacking phase. What you want to do is exploit the space. So either get the ball into the space or create the space. If Chelsea are pressing us, where's the space? It was behind them. Dink it over them into the flanks or into someone that drops into the middle. Put the ball in the space. We never once tried to do that. We kept playing from the back. They caught us, they scored. That is coaching.
Well, he didn't try to play long balls. What are you talking about? He tried to play long balls.
The build up to that goal, we were being pressed the shit out of for 35 minutes.
One goal.
And we kept that. Johnny, you're missing my point.
It could have been 4 or 5.
You're trying to build up the attack against the press that was too good for us. That's when you've got to change the passage of play and exploit the space. I'll give you another example, guys. I'll give you another example of coaching error.
Have you sent these into Thomas?
I know you're balls deep in with Frank, and you're immune to any kind of criticism.
Because he was
I'm too.
Everyone's got a slice of the same pie.
No, this is basic coaching. It's basic. And the other thing he did in that game, if we're not going to score because the attackers are shit, Frank, and you've set us up to be the best the best set piece team that we can be, you don't take off Kudos, who's our set piece taker, and you don't take off Danzo, who's our set piece throwing guy. You killed the only chance we had to score then. It doesn't make sense to me, just from a coaching perspective. And do you know what upsets me the most about it? Frank is much better than that. He showed us at the start of the season he can adapt. He did it against PSG brilliantly. He adapted against Man City fantastically well. He showed us at Brentford he's a tactical. He's got the ability to change it up. But what I've seen the last 4 or 5 games, and especially against Chelsea, that isn't Frank. He's not being Frank anymore. I don't know why. It's almost like the title tonight. He's become Frankenstein. It's not him. This is why I'm saying it.
Where's the Mbuemo? Where's the Wissa? Where's the quality up top, mate?
Johnny, we
lost the game before he got to the top, Johnny. That's the problem. Like, people were saying it would have been different had we had an Mbuemo. We lost that.
Any talent.
Stan is right, mate. We played out of the back and we were pressed. Like, their press was relentless, unwavering, and impeccable. And we didn't have a plan B to it. We did just go for our usual set piece FC. And unfortunately, here's another example of where
I'm not balls deep, FYI, because all I've done, if you bother to listen to any show I've been on, you can't defend the indefensible. It was shit. I've said it, shit. Well, what I'm saying is everyone has to take a slice of the blame pie, right? And that's including the players, right?
Absolutely.
It's not just Thomas Frank.
These performances have been like this for quite a while. These performances... What we saw against Chelsea...
You've been saying it since day one.
No.
But when I've been trying to say it, I kept being told we're resilient. And I'm saying, no, we're not. It's luck. And the luck has broken now. The luck has snapped.
I think the two things can be true at the same time, right? We absolutely have shored ourselves up at the back far better than where we were, right? The bar wasn't set very high from last season, but we are far better defensively than we have been. However, I agree with Stel to the point of where does the coaching go? I also agree with you, Johnny, that the players have to take responsibility, of course, right? And we'll come to the fans as well and what level of responsibility they should take. But you also, Johnny, Stel was talking about observing the fact that the press is impeccable. You have to figure out a plan B. We didn't particularly try one. When we did go long, we lost most area balls. When we did win those set pieces, every single set piece, I think we had 9 corners in the game. It was clear to me from the second corner that we were putting no pressure on Sanchez. And Sanchez even Jamie Carragher called it out in the commentary after one corner. He said, Pedro Porro's trying to knock it into the back of the net because he can see Sanchez is off the line. He reiterated it for the second corner when Kudus was taking it from the other side. And Tottenham just punt.
Sure.
One second. Let me finish the point. Hang on, Luba, let me finish the point. He's whipped the ball in and Sanchez just plucked it out of the air the next 6 times on the bounce. At no point did any one of the people on the bench who have got their tactics board or their data, whatever they're looking at no point did any of them get any kind of message onto the pitch to say, try and disrupt Sanchez. Because at the moment, the only way we get back into this game is through a set piece. And our set pieces today aren't working, primarily because Sanchez has got an easy ride.
The other thing also, Sean, was that Chelsea were putting 3 players on the halfway line when we had a corner. So instead
that's what Monaco did to us as well.
Yeah. So instead of one player being on the edge of the circle in their half, we had to have 3 back to take against 3. So we had, you got 2 less players. It didn't look like we were congested.
That means they've got 2 less defenders as well.
Exactly.
And the other thing also,
You adapt, man. You adapt.
No, but still nobody. Yes. No, the corners were poor. The corners were poor. They were too high. They were too flat. They made it easy for Sanchez.
Horrendous.
But nobody blocked him off. No one blocked off the keeper at all.
And so whose responsibility is that to get that message to the players? Is it Van der Ven, who meanwhile is having the worst game I've seen from him in the 2 years he's been here? Yeah. Was it? I don't know. Was it Polinia, who's a leader? Was it Bentancur? Who was it? Was it Kolo Muani? Somebody on that pitch should have noticed that the only chance we have of getting back into this game is by doing something a little bit different. And the thing that we usually rely on, set pieces, it wasn't working, and we didn't change anything. And Lubo, you're right. They did leave 2 or 3 men up, which does mean that there's 2 or 3 less players in the box, which means you have to make a decision. You either go risk on or risk off. If you go risk on, you have a supremacy in the box where you should be able to have 2 men unmarked. And then if you get the right corner and do it correctly, then you have a good chance of getting an outcome. But if you fuck it up, then obviously Sanchez can spring it on us. And Thomas Frank decided to go risk averse, which is my point. My point is about him. The frustrating thing is that he is Mother Teresa to Angie's Bonnie Blue. Right? He's setting up with 0 risk, and it's a not to lose philosophy, and that's not going to work at home. It's not going to.
Is that how you build something for the future? Right? Can you not start with building the foundations before you put the rest of the house in place?
We're losing every week, Johnny. Though.
Like when you build, hang on, right? If you build a house, mate, you've got to build the foundations. We all want it finished. We all want the roof on. We all want the furniture in, but we have to put the foundations in first, mate, before we can just start going there.
I think there's a balance between putting the foundations in place and not compromising results because you're trying not to lose. I think Frank just needs to find that balance. And this is why I said Frank isn't being Frank. He's become Frankenstein. He didn't do this in the past. He's shown us this season in certain games where he did adapt that he can set the foundations in place and still get something out of the team to look like we might win it. We've got a chance of being in this game.
I'm just amazed at how many just want to get rid of this manager.
I'm against that.
I'm dumbfucked, right? Listening to this.
But that's not my argument, right?
I'm not. Listen, let me tell you something.
Forget them.
I'm quite capable. Go on. Go on.
My argument isn't Frank out. That would be stupid.
Sounds it.
No, Johnny. I'm not emotionally attached to the manager. There's a difference. I can critique what I'm seeing.
I'm not emotionally attached. So what I'm saying
I never said you are. I'm talking about me. Because you said it sounds like I want him out. I don't want him out. I want him to stay and be the Frank that he was at Brentford and be the Frank that I saw earlier on in the season. But for some reason, I don't know why, he stopped being that manager and he's kind of got himself into this kind of stubborn pit where, right, don't lose. Frank, you can try not to lose, but change the passage of play.
Players, you say these players are not good enough, right? You've admitted it yourself. That attack is not good enough.
Yeah, it's
right?
crap.
It's capable of more than what we're doing, though, Johnny.
It's capable of more than 0.05 XG, though.
These players, we can all agree that the squad needs improvement, but I think a lot of people are shifting the narrative in order to make their point more valid and putting out this assumption that's settled science that these players from about Polinia forward are amateur Sunday league footballers at best. And I think it's a massive stretch and it's an over-exaggeration. They are capable. They're not perfect. We need better in 1 or 2 positions in the front line, and we need depth in those options as well. But this narrative that what more can you expect with the players that we have? Sorry, that doesn't wash with me. We are capable of far more than what we are delivering.
Tell Odegaard, Richarlison, I could go on. In fact, Lubo's the only one who knows whose fault this is. Whose fault is it, Lubo?
Levy's
fault.
This is the result.
Levy hired Frank, and Frank knew what he was signing up to. So,
hang on. Still, this is the result of 10 years of poor transfer policy.
Mate, having one shot on target has got nothing to do with 10 years.
No, but hang on.
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
To deflect.
Hang on, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to carry on. Hang on. Right. We never go in big, do we? We might spend money, but we never go in
Who
big.
spent 50 million on Xavi Simons? Who spent that money?
Hang on. Chelsea go and spend 220 on Enzo and Casado. And we've probably got 5 players that you could get shot of, that you could sell. Maybe you get 100 million for them. We are small time compared to these clubs. The thinking for the last God knows how many years has been small time. And this is what we've ended up with. We had Kane and Son, and nobody backed those. No one at the top said, right, we've got two.
Can you remind me the midfielders and the defenders we had when Kane and Son were here at the club under Mourinho? Can you remind me of that squad then?
The squad was dreadful.
Harry Winks. Or are we talking about the good squad?
Sanchez, Tanganga.
Lubo, we got absolutely smashed.
Eric Dyer, Joe Rodon, Clement Longley.
Lubo, we got smashed to pieces. If you're making the argument that the Chelsea spend is reasonable and rational, and that's the comparable, I don't agree. But I will let you have that one for the time being. If that's the argument, the reason why we can't beat Chelsea is because they spend 5 times more than everybody else. Fine. Explain the Bournemouth performance.
How did Sunderland beat Chelsea?
Exactly.
Yeah, because Chelsea is shit at home, except when they play us.
Explain the Bournemouth performance.
We've been shit.
Bournemouth don't spend £100 million on players, and they walked us off the park.
Bodo Glimt.
Monaco haven't got any ballers. I've got couple of ballers, but they haven't got a team full of superstars that cost £100 million, Lubo. The argument is silly.
Sean, I'm sure if you just mentioned several games. I'm sure you'll agree with me that the players aren't good enough.
No, I don't agree with you. I do not agree with you. You think Bournemouth have got a better squad than Tottenham? Is that what we're saying? Right. Bournemouth have got a better squad than Tottenham.
We're crap at home. We cannot play at home.
Okay, Bodo have got a better squad than Tottenham.
We can play at home, but we need to change the way we do it. We can.
Why have we come away with 2 draws when we could have been battered in both? Players are not good enough. Sean, they're not good enough.
So you're saying that the Bodo squad is better than the Tottenham squad?
They were good enough for Everton away. They were good enough for Everton away.
Wait a minute, Sean, you can't say that because you may as well then say, well, is the Palace squad better than the Man City squad because Palace won the cup final?
You're making the argument that the players aren't good enough. I'm trying to understand what that means. If the players aren't good enough to beat Bodo, are you saying that therefore the Bodo squad are better?
No, not necessarily, but our players are just not good enough. I'm sorry, the players...
Relative to the other team that they're playing in those examples, they are, Lubo. Come on, mate. It's not rocket science.
Well, can I say, we took a weaker team. Okay, Lubo, explain this to me.
Why?
Let's just put logic into this argument.
Maybe they have got better players.
Lubo, explain this to me. How did a weakened Tottenham team, no Kudus, no Van der Ven, no Vicario, and Vicario's been our best player for the last 3-4 games. How did a weakened Tottenham team go to Newcastle and actually create chances, actually get some shots away, and actually test their goalie? Yet at home, a stronger Tottenham team were pathetic. Is it not the
very simple?
There's the question, Stel. There's the question.
Away from home.
Yeah, so there's the question, Lubo, right? How is it since November the 3rd, 2024, 20 home Premier League games, we've managed to win 4 of them? Burnley.
Well, we blamed Ange for that, didn't we? We blamed the manager.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, I fucking did. 15.
So do you blame this manager then?
No, but so you're not fucking listening, Stel, right? I'm saying to you, this is a long-running thing, right? 15 games under Ange, 5 games under Thomas Frank. It ain't good enough. There's something fundamentally wrong, right? I don't know whether we got to go and get a gypsy and piss in the corner, but there's something fundamentally wrong. 20 home games. 20 home games. We got 4 wins in 20 in a year. It's outrageous. It's terrible.
When Ange was here, it's because we played a high-line suicidal system, and we said, "Look, the manager, it's him. It's a way." And it's because he mugged off the Premier League to purely focus on Europa. So we blamed the manager, and rightly so.
November, he only mugged off the league apparently in January and February. Apparently,
so his tactics in those games were at fault, and rightly so. We blamed Ange. I don't disagree with that. But now this manager's come in with these tactics. We don't want to blame him for the tactics he's deploying
and with a better squad.
Games.
And
No,
a
I'm
better
not
squad.
saying he's
The
good.
squad,
Listen,
that
no,
Thomas
I'm
Frank
not-
has is better than
No,
the
I'm
squad.
not having
and
words put in my mouth because no one is condoning the performances. No one can condone. I
Do you
walked
blame
out
the
that.
manager, Johnny? Do you blame the manager the way we blamed the last managers when we were playing shit? When
Yeah,
Mourinho,
it's not fucking good enough, right? It's not good enough. Whatever way you want to look at it, ain't good enough. But what I'm saying to you is, what is wrong? There's something fundamentally wrong that we have lost. We've won 4 games out of 20 home games. We have got the worst home game, right? We've got the worst record in the Premier League by any single club, even the promoted ones. It's ridiculous. There's something fundamentally wrong. I don't know what happens. The teams come to our stadium, they relish it, they don't fear it. They come a lovely changing room. The crowd, their fans get a nice little pitch in the corner instead of being shoved up in the gods like you are in Newcastle. Everything seems to be the perfect storm. Our fans go there because we've had 1 year of absolute crap. We're almost waiting for it. As soon as something goes wrong, right, it goes, and rightly so. The booing at some of those set pieces and the delivery on Saturday was shambolic. You know, passing back when you just want to get the ball forward. You know, and the corners, the set pieces, the free kicks, they were all shocking. But I just feel that everyone deserves a piece of that blame pie.
Everyone does, Johnny, but you can't
No, I agree with that. I
ultimately,
agree with that.
the
Everyone
manager
deserves it. I agree
isn't
with that.
capable to kick a ball. He is
agree.
responsible. The manager's always responsible for the output, for the performance. It's not a Thomas Frank and a Tottenham thing. That's just the way it works, right? Ange's responsible for what happened at Forest. Amarim's responsible for what happens at United. It's just the way it is, guys. Listen, it's a good interjection though, a good segment, a good segue as Johnny leads us into the fan thing. I do want to move on to the fact we can come back into this overall conversation in the next segment. I just want to do a couple of super chats. And